and welcome to Xbox One Party Chat Podcast. It's the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit. I'm your host, Ross Miller, and I'm joined by everyone's favourite word and savoury snack. It's Reese.
Hello.
And a person that I haven't yet thought up of a smart name for. It's Karina.
Hey guys.
I'm going to have to think of something. Maybe the listeners can post on Reddit what we should be calling you. We've got everyone's favourite Uncle Jesse.
Don't ask what the Redditors should be calling a young woman.
No. I need to filter through them, but...
Yeah, that's actually a bad idea. You're right. But we have a very special rare treat. Is that an overused pun by now? I don't think so.
No.
Joining us is not one, not two, but three members of the rare team. First of all up, we've got social media manager, Emma Bridle.
Hello, thanks for having me back.
I know you've been on here more than Uncle Jesse by now, I think.
Yeah, it's like the fourth time?
Third time now, I think.
Third, yeah. Art director, Ryan Stevenson.
Hello.
And studio head himself, gamer boss, Craig Duncan.
Hey, aren't we breaking some kind of rule for too many people on a podcast now?
Nah.
6 of us? How are we even going to get words in edgeways?
It'll work out, I'm sure.
Can I just point out, I edit this podcast and I'm not paid a penny. So if anyone wants to start paying people for editing podcasts, I'm your man. Look, thank you all three of you for joining us for this rare special edition of the Party Chat podcast. As you said, there's 6 of us on here and we've got quite a few questions to get through. So why don't we get started? For those that are listening that don't know who you guys are, do you want to give us a brief overview of who you are and what your job entails at Rare? Just like an example of your normal workday, and we'll go with the boss first of all, so Craig.
Damn. I mean, normal workday is hard, so, I have the privilege of running the team at Rare, super talented team, and really my job is about helping the team do awesome work, create amazing games, and just try and build the right structure and culture and really give a ton of talented people what they need to go do awesome stuff and be successful. They stick me in front of cameras and on podcasts occasionally. And whenever they do that, it's always representing the great work that's done by the team. My job involves everything from, like I say, recently was E3 right through to finance reviews, right through to working with our Xbox team and marketing partners for how we're going to bring Sea of Thieves to market, right through to everything in between. So, yeah, very lucky to do what I do and privileged by it every single day.
Oh.
Next up is you, Ryan.
So I'm art director of Sea of Thieves. So I spend my time kind of just trying to imagine the world of Sea of Thieves and just making it a beautiful world to kind of adventure in and get lost in. So my background is basically creating worlds at Rare. So I'm known for doing Viva Pinata and...
My man.
Thank you.
You can't see, but I'm wearing a Viva Pinata shirt right now, just believe me.
And kind of updating Banjo in Nuts and Bolts. And also It's Mr. Pants, which is a program.
That was you?
Yeah, that was me. So I did all those drawings.
Ryan was a lot younger then. Like, it was just as he was honing his art skills.
I could tell.
I had to learn how to draw like a 5-year-old.
For anyone who doesn't know what that in-joke is, I'm not going to spoil it for you by explaining it. Just Google Mr. Pants.
Yes. Yeah, the character was designed by Loveday, so it was my job to... Lee Loveday, and my job was to try and come up with how we kind of make it work in an actual game. So It's Mr. Pants puzzle game was a very strange game indeed.
Oh, there's a video about it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Rare Limited, if people want to check it out.
Yes, mainly people not believing we actually made it ourselves.
Nice plug, Emma, as well.
Yeah, that was smooth. You see that?
Just before Emma goes, she is the absolute queen of plugs. Anytime that she's joined us, it's always talking about, you can catch the documentary about that on Rare Replay. Or, you are the queen of plugs. So let's go to the queen of plugs. Emma, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Rare's social media manager. So I'm running the community team. We take care of social media. So that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we've got 2 YouTube channels, we've got our forums, we've got email, we've got 2 websites. So basically making sure that all of those are full of interesting content and that we're engaging with fans day in, day out.
So, pretty much gaming royalty, the 3 of you, I would say.
Oh,
That's
thanks.
very kind of you.
I think whoever you speak to at Rare, there's a good chance you're talking to very talented, very passionate people, and then I'm just the idiot in charge. But it's a good gig. So
You get to
just
take the
don't
credit.
count on- Yeah.
Take credit.
I always get incredibly nervous when people start saying how we're gaming royalty. I just want to run away, hide in a corner at that point and draw.
Oh, yeah, no, I embarrassed Ryan at a Christmas party. We're going, do you know you're really famous on the internet and people think you're so talented? And he just sits there going, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed.
Well, he is very talented.
He
And
is.
and the more we talk about it, the redder he's going to go sitting beside him.
Yep,
So we
just
should
keep going.
keep it up.
Aw.
Ryan, I'm going to make you very red, because let's face it, has there been many more iconic characters than those in Viva Pinata? And that is you. Really?
Yeah, thank you.
We love Viva Pinata.
Oh, I saw you might stream it. It's a good choice.
Yeah, I'm hoping of possibly doing that or Conker's Bad Fur Day tomorrow. Hopefully, I might probably choose Viva Pinata just because it's one of my favourite games. I got a bit obsessed with not unlocking. You had to collect as such every character, and I got a bit obsessed with that, and I wouldn't stop playing until I had everyone. And I can't remember which one it was, but there was one I could never manage to find or unlock how you made such creature. It really annoyed me, but
If you look for Pinata Island, there's a fan-made wiki online that has all the stuff that you need to know for Viva Pinata in it.
All the secrets.
but isn't that cheating?
I don't know.
It's like Minecraft. You play Minecraft and you have the wiki page open on your phone or something the whole time.
Ah, see, that's okay then.
I think it's
Let's
allowed.
call it that way.
Yeah, Viva Pinata was ahead of its time. I mean, such an incredible game. It was one of my favourite Rare games as well. We're actually sitting here just literally next to a great big Viva Pinata poster that's sitting up on my wall. It's a stunning game. And the art.
Does it have a 3 on it? No, sorry, moving on.
Karina.
It's actually a canvas of what was it the Japanese art?
That was a picture I did just for fun.
Just for fun.
Literally just for fun, that one was.
Oh. Did you guys ever actually have a Viva Pinata?
There is
Oh, there
one.
was
I don't know
loads
where
of
it's gone.
Yeah, we got I made one when we were first working on game, which was this pink pig, which I think it's lived on Lee's desk for a while.
No, it disappeared during Rare Replay. I haven't seen it for a while.
Oh,
Yeah, so we did have a semi-official one we made.
a semi-official one. So they go.
Can I just check, did it disappear when Reese visited you, or?
I can check the timelines.
Don't look into that too deeply.
So then, guys, how long have you been working for Rare? Does it seem like a lifetime, or is it more just seems brand new still?
Yeah, so I think I was 6 years in February, just gone. So that must be probably getting on 6.5 years now. And yeah, we've done a lot in that time. So I think certainly for me, you're never done, and there's always things we want to do and things we get excited about. Sea of Thieves being absolutely the thing everyone's excited around at the moment. But yeah, I mean, 6.5 years have flown by, absolutely flown by.
I've been here, I think it's 16 years now. People often ask me how come I'm still here? I haven't gone off on to other adventures. And it is just the fact that Rare is always reinventing itself, and we're always doing something new. So of all the games I've worked on, I've never felt I've worked on the same game. And with Sea of Thieves, kind of it's a brand new kind of approach for us, being so open. So I'm used to kind of the time when we were terribly secretive to now where we're talking about everything and showing things, which is really exciting.
And I've been there 4 years, right about now, I think. So in 4 years that I've been at Rare, I'm now actually working on the 3rd game. That time's gone really quickly, actually. But I've had the same thing from Ryan. I think people in social media tend to move around quite a lot, and I've had people at other companies quite incredulous of, why are you still there? And I keep going, because my job is fun. I like what I do. I work with great people. I work on great projects. And in the games industry, it's literally about making things fun. Why would I want to leave? So yeah, I've stuck around.
Nice.
Saying that you're done about 3. Did you say 3 games? What was the first one?
Connect
What's
Sports
your first ever
Rivals
project?
was getting ready to launch when I started, then Rare Replay, and now Sea of Thieves.
Ryan, what's your first project?
That was it's Mr. Pants actually. That was my first
Nice
project.
start.
Yeah, so I did It's Mr. Pants, and then went on to Viva Pinata, Banjo Nuts and Bolts, and then the whole Connect Sports kind of era of things as well. After that, and then Sea of Thieves.
And what about you, Craig?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, kind of Rare is my project. So where
It's a big project.
it is, and
Ongoing.
that's it. And I think for me, it's really about Rare achieving and fulfilling its potential. And as Ryan and Emma have said, it continues to reinvent itself. Part of what I wanted to work with the team on was what is Rare going into 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18 and beyond look like. And, there's a couple of big transforms there. We obviously did an E3 2015 where we announced Rare Replay and celebrated our 30-year heritage and anniversary, which, not many studios can claim to have kind of been around the games industry as long as the games industry has been around. And then to kind of set Rare off, no pun intended, on its new voyage for its new adventure. With a brand new IP in Sea of Thieves, it was just a super proud moment, and we haven't looked back ever since. So it's yeah. So Rare's my project.
Yeah, so we hear you guys basically haven't been doing much of anything lately, right? No new games or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, we play Sea of Thieves.
I'm just kidding. Of course, Sea of Thieves is the new hotness, so to speak, for Rare. And you guys just had an amazing presentation at E3. You basically stole the show. I think you guys had the longest video out of all the Xbox ones. I'm not sure. Someone can misquote me on that.
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah.
So how was E3 for you guys? We noticed that you didn't have a Porsche. Can we expect a pirate ship next year? Or?
Craig, start asking now.
I kind of get bored with that joke, and I'm sure Phil and Alan Hartman that runs our Turn 10 team get bored with that joke as well.
Oh,
because I kind of walk into the E3 review meetings and go, hey, if Alan gets to have a car on stage, why can't I have a pirate ship?
See, I thought I was being really original when I wrote that joke. Yeah. I'm just going to go sit in the corner again.
Yeah, they all look at me like I'm some kind of spoiled child. It's like, hey, just go back to Rare and play with your pirate ships. But no, we wanted to try something different this year. And we obviously tried something very new last year with bringing fans in and recording them playing the game for the first time, which we thought would be a fun gameplay reveal. And this year we got a lot of questions, really. I've seen Sea of Thieves. What is it? I want to know more. So we took this approach, which again was pretty risky from our point of view, of we want to capture real gameplay of the latest version of the game and show what we think is a typical adventure in Sea of Thieves. Now, the beauty about Sea of Thieves is every time you play it, you get different adventures happen. And then John, who works in our video team, we didn't want to do kind of fake voice. And
no,
so
that's never worked.
We sort of said, hey, can we try a narrator? And it's like, narrators are really hard because you've got to get humour in, and what if the humour doesn't land? And so again, we just iterated and iterated as the guys played the game. We kept capturing different scenes. John was working the narration, and there were bits of it we liked, and bits of it we didn't. And you'll notice in the trailer, there's bits that are quite narration heavy, and then we duck that down so Robin's music can really come to the fore. But I think we feel really happy about how the trailer landed, and the response was great, and the amount of people that said, hey, now I get it, now I get what you do in Sea of Thieves. Like, it isn't just about ship combat. You can do all these other things, and people imagine themselves on those adventures. So the reaction was amazing, which is really great.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I got from your video. Was maybe some of the questions were, what is it exactly I'm going to do in this game. You know, people had an idea of what the mechanics were, but what exactly am I going to do in the game? And the video really, really hit home everything, all the questions that people have been asking online in the subreddit and everywhere else. It all seemed to be answered. You felt as if you really listened to your fans and you answered all those questions that we really wanted to know. Plus underwater sharks.
And historically accurate banana
sharks?
eating.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what I
Underwater sharks?
Underwater.
That went straight past me.
Yeah, well, have you never seen the movie Ghost Shark? Because they're on land.
Or Sharknado.
We did actually
Sharknado.
we did actually have a bug at one point where the sharks would go up the beach and swim on land temporarily.
Oh.
That video does exist.
Yeah, I think it does.
No, I played with someone and I had someone visiting from the studio and she came out to the session and went, there was a shark in a tree.
That Sharknado that caused that.
Yeah. So, guys, I have to ask this question because, you know, you guys actually not just showed off the demo in the E3 showreel, but you actually had the game available for the public to play at E3. And I want to know how the public actually reacted to playing the demos because from the mod team, we had Mikey and Richard who actually went there and you know, played the game and saw E3 and everything else. And basically they've done nothing but talk about the game since they came back. And so I want to know, how was it to you know, to show the game to the public and how were they reacting with it?
Yeah, I mean, the reaction's been great. And obviously, I'm lucky enough to be at E3. And I'm sure Emma and Ryan can give their sense on what was sort of coming back or the view from afar. Because the problem is, like, when you're at E3, you're kind of in the eye of the maelstrom, so you see, you know, I've seen and absorbed the Sea of Thieves bubble going on around us, but you don't really see what people are writing or saying. It's kind of hard to capture that when you're there. But one thing we've always known is kind of playing Sea of Thieves is believing, and no matter how much we talk about what's great about the game or how beautiful it looks and the job Ryan and the team have done, or, you know, the unique cooperative design, or, you know, some of the tech behind the, you know, whether it's the water or, you know, the physics and the ship and all those things. Actually playing it is that aha moment. And not only that, when you see people play it, you just see them smile and laugh or, you know, almost kind of cry with laughter that even though their ship is sinking and they should be, you know, absolutely kind of hysterically traumatized, what they're actually trying to do is patch the water up or patch the ship up and bail the water out. And at the same time, one of their crew is boarding another ship and there's sharks chasing another member. And people just have this, you know, really riotous, just fun when they play our game. And some of that is because it doesn't take itself too seriously. And we put things like firing yourself out of a cannon in the build. and we allow people to ultimately have fun. And that means every adventure and every time you play it's different. And with that, you know, really what we showed in the briefing is what we had on the show floor at E3, which is what people played in the technical alpha at exactly the same time. So, you know, we very much had the mantra of, you know, let's show, not tell what's in our game. So when we're ready to talk about things, we ultimately have it in the build and we show it, and then we get feedback from our players. And that's super powerful as well. I mean, we definitely held a few things back from our tech alpha just on the run to E3 because we wanted our players and our existing community to have a few surprises like the shipwrecks, like firing yourself out of a cannon. You know, I think we'd had a V1 sword fighting in the alpha, but we were it was like V2. We put some feedback and things, skeletons firing cannons.
We had the riddles on the forums as well, where we hid lots of
riddles
as well.
Yeah. So the first time we debuted riddles, storms, we'd not shown anyone before. So
historically accurate banana eating.
Historically accurate, yeah. Thank you so much for the banana challenge. The internet is in your debt.
They were talking about it on Radio 1 the other day as I was going off on my holiday.
No way.
Yeah.
It's crazy because we've actually got the model of it peeled and everything.
That is not
but now that's going to happen. I was just sitting there going like, I can never fix this now. I've got everything ready. We've done the work, and I can never change it now. Because it's just too good.
And it was a coconut for a while.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what
It's
people
a
don't
coconut.
realise.
That would have been even better.
We really, I put the coconut on Twitter and issued it as a second challenge, but I think that's a little bit more difficult to do.
Yes, it was if we made that especially for it, but no, that existed first, and then we all kind of looked at it and went, "You're eating a coconut with your teeth."
Yeah.
but now we know pirates can eat bananas like that. Maybe coconuts are totally fine as well.
The bit I loved as well was some of the people in the comments were saying, no, pirates would have ate bananas that way.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, there was
Justifying
They
it.
wouldn't have
surplus
known.
of food. They wouldn't have wasted anything, and there was nutrients in the skin, which I thought was quite charming.
Yeah, I think there's an argument
That's
for it.
actually, wait, so this wasn't intentional? I thought eating banana peel stopped scurvy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, let's say it is.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
works.
But having people playing the tech alpha at the same time was really cool because I think the best thing was seeing people in the forums going, oh, okay, great, we've seen the trailer, there's loads of cool stuff in it. But, I mean, when are we going to get to play that? That's months out, right? And then we were like, no, you can play now. And it's the same as what they'd just seen. And people had a great time. Yeah, we had this, we were doing challenges every day where we'd put mythical chests and we had riddles to go and find them. People were playing with people at E3. So it was really cool to have people getting their hands on it at home, rather than just at the show.
Yeah, we did a number of live streams. We obviously did the first Mixer co-stream of Sea of Thieves straight after the briefing. So yeah, it was a great E3, and the reaction, just to go back to your very first question, the reaction unanimously was people that played had a great time. They want to keep playing, and actually, it's a really hard game to let people play for 25 minutes to half an hour.
Yeah.
You're cruel, is what you are when you do that.
It's just, I mean, it flies by. Like,
absolutely.
You play for 30 minutes and literally it flies by.
Well, we do it ourselves every Friday. We kind of have a team-wide kind of play session of playing the newest features, and I think it's 45 minutes to an hour. And the amount of people that carry on playing after that time's up, because you just get lost in that moment of, I'll just do one more thing and I'll just finish this. And now I've got a map. I'll just go and do this.
Who's the best team, though? The best pirate team?
Playing with designers is difficult because you go on an island and I'm trying to figure out where is north, which point on the island. They're just like, got the chest. They're just they're on it.
Yeah, I kind of pride myself on being able to tell where on an island the chest is, so I normally try and get it in one dig. That's normally my own challenge.
I've never done that.
Spend some time with me.
I think the designer's pretty good.
Testers.
Some of the QA guys.
Yeah.
Like,
They can be evil.
They're not the guys you want to get into. Yeah, I mean, part of the story, we've been telling since the very origin of Sea of Thieves is, hey, you see another sail on the horizon, that's another crew of players off on their own adventure. When we play it internally, you hope that's not the team of QA guys. Like, the ship on the horizon. Oh no!
Yes, you run quickly.
But again, they have that ship moving in all directions, and all that mastery on just how to work the sails, how to read the wind, how to get the cannon accurate, like all of those things. Like
they've just worked out the best teamwork to kind of take down other ships.
Yeah, it's impressive, and what that excites me though is, again, it just shows that the longevity of the game. That, again, if you want to, if that's what motivates you as a player to actually become a crew that's regarded and notorious for being awesome, then there's ways for you to do that.
Yeah, I think it's fun playing with people, because obviously my team doesn't have any direct input into the game, but playing with people, like I played with someone from the audio team a little while ago, and he was saying, look, if you come a little bit further underwater, you'll start to trigger the sounds, and if you come over here, you can hear this. And he was just really excited to sort of show off all the stuff that he'd put in recently. So that was really cool.
Oh, that's always nice. So out of all these features, do you have a favourite? Because I must say, I really love the new shooting yourself out cannon. Whoever thought of that idea, that was genius. I love it.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I like the musical instruments.
Is yours 9 yet?
Yeah,
okay,
mine's made.
Okay.
Mine's made.
So Ryan's literally sitting on his hands now, making
I can't talk about it. I've been working on it for so long.
I mean, I'm with you on the firing yourself out of a cannon. Like it's. I remember the design team pitching that before we put it in the first prototype. Yeah. And I'll be honest, and this is going to make me sound like the fun police in the studio. I'm like, really, firing yourself out of a cannon? But the moment it went in, it's so much fun. It's like literally so much. I mean, the fact that their head pokes out, the fact that they wave their arm, and you can still use objects while you're in the air as well. Yeah. So, and again, you'd logically go, oh, I can take a gun out and shoot or swing my sword, or you can play music while you're flying through the air.
Like Flight of the Valkyries?
Whatever you can imagine.
Tip some water on another ship as you're flying over.
Yeah, like just all kinds of just fun, emergent gameplay things. But also the storms as well. I mean, I think whilst visually being impressive, the fact that again, what we showed in the briefing was 100% real. You know, that ship right up on the high wave.
Yep.
The steering fights against you when you're in the storm. The boat's really hard to, but again, in a believably fun way, control in the storm. Which means if you get smashed against rocks, your boat takes damage, and just again, it just brings a whole new dynamic to the world and the environment.
So from the kind of feature of storms as well, that was. I suppose that's kind of like one that's in that's kind of a bit of a favourite of mine, where right at the start of the project, we were kind of looking at the game from point of view. You're mainly seeing water and sky for a lot of on a sailing game, going from point to point. So we wanted to make, obviously the water's really nice, and we wanted to make the sky equally have that magic kind of feeling as well. So it was that challenge of setting ourselves out, saying all the clouds are actually going to be physical objects. So they are these big bits of physical geometry that are cloud-like, and they form and they change. And so the storm is this big physical thing on the horizon that casts shadows on the environment, and it isn't just an effect. It is, in a world, all games are effects to a degree, but it is this kind of entity that exists in the world that you can sail under and you can see from a distance.
Nice.
Because in the subreddit, all we have actually seen since the game was announced was GIF after GIF of water.
Yeah.
Hashtag great water.
Yes.
How do you design artistic water like you have?
I'm going to pass that to our handily placed art director on this call.
Lots and lots of amazing, talented people, really. So there's a whole degree of people kind of involved in it. I mean, the rendering team, Mark Lucas is kind of like what was one of the people that's obviously spearheaded it all and did all the technology behind this amazing water. But we have got like tech artists that are working out the way that you can make light come through it and working on the textures that go across it. You've got the VFX team that are kind of doing the spray that just comes off it, and there's the ship crashes through. Depending on the pitch and the speed of your ship, the way that kind of get the VFX kicking up around the front of your ship, and just the whole lighting system of the water changing colour in different regions and time of day. It's just a massive team of these people kind of working on making water amazing. And we knew it was going to be something that was going to be really important with a pirate game at sea. And we kind of thought of lots of different ways of either stylizing it or making it hyper real, where we've just got this kind of weird,
got a nice blend.
It was a kind of a blend, because I realised if you look at a lot of animated films, I think it's something that they've realised as well. As soon as you start stylizing it too much, where it's completely kind of stylized and looks like a flat plane or something, not really, it doesn't feel like water anymore. So we've got this kind of realistic but kind of like stylized as a way of thinking about it.
I think to add, even as well as, and it looks amazing in any light. I mean, again, I could watch sunsets of our game with the sun bouncing off the waves literally all day. There you go. When you said like, hey, what does your job involve? I should have just said sitting in my office watching sunsets in our game. I wish that's what it was. But it's actually a physical character as well.
Yeah.
So again, there's calm water around the islands that, it's safe to, moor your ship up and go swimming in. Of course, there's sharks, so you've got to be a little bit careful. But when you're out in the choppy seas, like, back to what I said about storms earlier, if you're being pursued by another ship, you can literally take them into treacherous waters and through a storm and use the sea to your advantage if you're a, skilled enough crew. which again is just awesome. So as well as that visual impact, it also plays very differently depending on where you are in the world.
It's like with the underwater as well. That was really interesting when people's reaction to seeing the fact that underwater existed, because to us we always knew it was going to be there, and it existed for such a long time. This going under the waves, but we just locked the player to the top because we were still working on things of it. So opening it up and then suddenly people going, "Wait a minute, you can go underwater," and it's like, well, of course you can, because that's what you would do in the sea. So yeah.
There's that great shot in the E3 trailer where you're looking at the ship across the way in the storm, and the lightning cracks and all the water lights up from underneath as the choppy waves are going, and it just looks amazing.
Yeah, that's everyone's favorite GIF.
Yeah.
I think I made it the front page of Reddit, actually. But,
the best
Ryan, to sort of pull you aside while we're talking about art and everything, I want to ask you about, because everyone who basically sees Sea of Thieves for the first time, they look at it and they instantly sort of come to the conclusion that it looks quintessentially like a Rare game. And I want to ask you, like, what is the Rare look? Like, how do you take that look and apply it to Pirates but still make it your own? Like, that has to be difficult, right?
Okay, so that's difficult to analyse. Craig just patted me on the back, because one of my missions right from the start was to kind of reimagine a rare kind of game, the visuals in the modern day, using all the technology that we got, using all the new approaches that we got, but something that was quintessentially Rare. So it really is, it's difficult to kind of like pin down, but we always said it was something about charm, I think, has always been really key. One of the artists that was here years ago used to always mention whimsy. There's a degree of charm and character, and we were never obsessed with being really realistic or anything like that. It's just kind of entertaining ourselves to a degree, and I think that's one of the reasons why it always feels like a Rare game, because we're making it to entertain ourselves, and we know what a Rare game is because we live it every day.
Yeah, interesting. I think one thing I always notice about the Rare art style is there's never any straight edges. Everything is slightly curved somehow.
That's another one of my things. So I've realised, I realised making this game, because I've got several art pillars. When making a game, you kind of define what the art pillars are in the game. So one of them is for Sea of Thieves. One of them was for a world in motion. So everything always moves, which is a bit of a spoiler, as a new thing that's just happened in the captain's cabin. The curtains now sway, and we've now got the parrot cage now rocks as well with the waves. So everything moves. And also was a world with stories and history. So everything had to have a sense that it was lived in. There was no new pirate shop, or there was no new kind of factory making pirate things. So everything needed to feel wonky or got a sense of history. And then looking back at it, I think I've done it in every single game that I've kind of done with Pinata as well. Everything was a bit askew or crazy. And again, even go back to Mr. Pants, he had 6 fingers on one hand, so everything was slightly wonky.
I remember wonky in your original.
Oh yeah, wonky.
Yes, there was a whole bit on it.
Ship, which was like, here's a ship, and you looked at it and you were like, yeah, it's a pirate ship, and then Brian goes, no, here's a Sea of Thieves ship, and again, it's just everything, all the words, and everything's like a bit warped, a bit lived in, everything's slightly like, wonky. Yeah, and even then applying that to the pirates. It's like, if you look at, again, some of their faces and animations and just the way it has this real character about it that I think sets Sea of Thieves apart. I mean, you see Sea of Thieves and you know it's Sea of Thieves.
So talking about art pillars and your characters, what would your favourite thing to design be? Would it be something small like your treasure maps, or would you say you prefer it as in the water, or something vast like the storms?
I'm lucky in the position that I get to touch everything. So depending on everything and every. But at the moment, my current favourite thing is working on some NPCs, which there's a new one that I kind of designed recently for a feature that I thought was really good fun. So working on characters is always feels like a lot of fun, because they're full of history and they're full of stories. So it's anything that really tells a story. But it's building worlds. So everything, any opportunity to kind of give a sense of history, like the cruise this year at E3. For anyone playing on our Insider, the way that it works, where people get assigned different pirates and they get randomly put together. Whereas at E3, there were four very clearly defined crews, and each of them had a different attitude from. We nicknamed them the Bilge Rats, which were a drunken debauchery, kind of like drinking and playing musical instruments and kind of just being rowdy, to I nicknamed them the Mutiny Set, which looked like a bunch of ex-naval officers, which were all kind of with ripped clothing and very aggro. So each of the character groups all had these kind of backstories that we developed for them.
One thing that I really like seeing, again, I'm more removed from it than Ryan is, but how diverse the pirates are as well. In terms of body shape and ethnicity and facial shapes and all sorts of things, just everyone looks so different, and I really like it.
They're piratey accessories too.
Yes, and so the hook hands and peg legs, and all the peg legs are different, and the eye patches and everything, and scars and tattoos, and yeah.
I think I actually have Ryan's pirate lineup as my Twitter header backdrop at the moment, which was just one of those conversations where he said, hey Craig, I've just done the latest pirate lineup. I'm like, this is amazing. Can you send me like a high res version of it? And then it's like screensaver.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
It turned into the end of the E3 when we sent everyone to Mixer. That piece of artwork got put up, and that was just an evening just going, I wonder what it would look like if I put all these characters together in a big long line. And then into that, which was a bit of a surprise.
But it's exactly to Emma's point, though. Yeah. When you see the range of characters together,
absolutely,
it just shows the variety of kind of pirates we want to represent. Yeah,
and that was it was always a thing of, I didn't want to make a game where everyone was just a chiseled hero. Pirates have got such a rich history, and if you look at any good pirate film, the secondary characters are far more fun than the chiseled hero at the front. They're just these crazy bunch of people on a ship, which is what Sea of Thieves is.
I just want to double check something, like back to the originations around the idea for what is essentially a pirate simulator. Is that the best way to describe it?
I guess.
Simulator sounds boring.
Not serious.
Yeah.
I'm boring. What can I say? You must have had all types of different concepts floating about for a new game.
Yep.
What was it that made you say, yep, pirates, this is the next game?
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's by no small burden that we say this is the next game from Rare. That in itself has to be something we feel very passionate about. I mean, we had a concept before it was pirates. And I remember, Joe, Greg, Ryan, their very, very first pitch. It was a black and white PowerPoint deck that was titled "Players Creating Stories Together."
Great special.
And that was the concept that we got inspired about, which was, hey, imagine we can create a game world where players could go out on these adventures and share stories where no two adventures would be the same, and which as a goal is super interesting. And then the other thing was like, hey, what if we got players involved early and we made it with them, whatever that meant, because we didn't really know at the time.
No, I didn't think we realised how much fun it would be to actually kind of.
And then really what we did is like what would be the right thematic wrapper to put a group of players together in a world or setting that would allow them to create these stories together. And we had a number of different, what we call one sheets, like single page concept. One was pirates. There was actually a few more Ryan and I were just discussing over dinner.
Yeah.
Which is maybe a story for another podcast. But, what we loved about pirates is if you think about a ship and putting, 4 players together, actually getting cooperative play to work with 2 players is fairly, a lot of games have done that. And obviously doing great big kind of scale, battles is something else. And we didn't want to really just be a PvP game. We wanted it to feel like this cooperative adventure, you and your friends going on adventures together in this world. And when we had the Pirates one sheet, it was just, I think, a bit of an aha moment for everyone, which was, okay, so the ship will keep them together. They're a crew, which means they have shared goals. So it's the crew against the world. Everyone knows what to do with pirates, but it's open enough that everyone will be a slightly different type of pirate because they'll have a slightly different reference point. So what we really liked about it is it was a perfect kind of creative vessel for the kind of game we wanted to build.
It was the features as well within it were kind of really key to it as well. With the aspect of players on a ship together, they could kind of work out what they had to do in the game without actually putting lots of very gamey features in it. For instance, like obviously if your ship's filling with water and you have a bucket in your hand, what do you think you're going to do? Well, you're going to bail your ship out. And if you've got a plank of wood and a leaky hole, you're going to go and fix the ship, which is something that we wanted to make it a logical physical space. And that's the amazing thing about the ship is that it is this massive moving level which the players are making move themselves.
Yeah, and the sails, I mean, again, it's not, to your sim point, it's not trying to be a sim, but, we have a couple of points where you can rotate the sails. We have a couple of points where you can raise and lower the sails. The capstan, which we call an anchor because everyone recognises an anchor is that big wheel that raises the anchor up and down, the ship's wheel. Like, again, very early on, it was like this thing should be believably real and fun, not real. And, we've had people come in and play the game before that have been sailors and sailed ships, and it's not unreal enough that they hate it, but it's definitely, it's not a sim. It's a fun game, and we want people to have that sense of discovery that they figure out what to do without needing to be, some qualified maritime expert to be able to sail our ship.
Craig, can I just sort of jump in here and bring you back a second? Because I think I'm really struggling to maintain my worldview at the moment. Because are you telling me an anchor is not an anchor?
Oh, the whole capstan thing. No, for months and months, I didn't know what that was, and I'd go to team meetings, and they were talking about the capstan for months, and I felt really idiotic because I didn't know what it was, but by that point, I'm British, so I felt like, oh, it's been too long now. I can't ask what it is. So for months, I didn't know what they were talking about.
It's the mechanical thing that raises and lowers the anchor.
Yeah, eventually I broke and just had to say, what?
Capstan?
A capstan. It's the kind of vertical piece of the machinery that sticks up in the ship.
The great big wheel that four people grab onto and all push at the same time because
that's
it's
the capstan.
Wincing a great big...
I've been living a lie.
But just don't look for the chain or the anchor.
Yeah.
Just don't look for it.
That's the fantastical part.
Hey, it's all right, Emma. You're not alone on that. The other day, I couldn't remember the name of the, basically called the captain. I ended up calling it the sea pilot.
Nice.
Same thing. Yeah.
It'll work.
Now, moving on. So you guys are currently doing a private alpha testing for the Insider program. That must be amazing. Like, how many people are playing on your playtest by now?
Around 70-odd thousand have been invited so far.
And how many are waiting to be invited?
During E3, we passed 200,000 insiders. We had an additional 50,000 people sign up during the week of E3. So the club of the insiders is just getting bigger and better all the time.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I think, we've been scaling, and again, just shout out to absolutely everyone that's participated, helped, contributed, been on our forums, been on the subreddit, gave us feedback. Like, thank you all. You're all amazing. It's so appreciated. And for those that haven't got in yet, we're inviting people all the time. I mean, we had another 10,000 people the week of E3. Like, as we keep scaling and as we keep adding, we've just brought our Win 10 version online. We did a first test with them. We've got another one coming up, which again will add, I can't remember the exact number, but several thousand more people. And we just keep building and scaling our services, which help us test everything from servers to email comms to matchmaking to features to telemetry. Like, the game we're building is just so inherently complex without even getting into the design aspect of people playing different ways and as really seeing what people do with the features we put in. It's just so useful to us to have a real population of players, playing the game. And it's great that they can have fun as well. Like that's important to us. But everything we do, their feedback and feedback on what we're going to do influences our future roadmap. So it's just so useful to us.
And we can also do really fun things like rename taverns after them in the game.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Cool. We've had a few things. I mean, we always love this idea around. I don't know. Ryan said, everything's built with lore and history in mind, but we always wanted our players and our early players to shape the legends of Sea of Thieves. So because it's an ongoing game and we can update it, this notion of immortalizing players in our game world and immortalizing the deeds of crew. And we've just started to scratch the surface of that, with some of our tech alpha players, but it's something we feel really passionate about. And when those stories have got out, I think our community's really, really rallied around them as well. So it's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have never developed a game like this before, have you? Like, it must be such a completely different process to work directly with the players as you develop the game.
Well, I mean, the community team's grown vastly in the last couple of years because we're reaching more people in so many more ways. So anyone who tweets us or posts to us on Facebook or posts in our forums or on the subreddit, like, we see every single message that we get sent. Like, we're reading it all the time. And we love doing that. So yeah, I mean, it's different to anything we've done before.
Yeah, and I think people maybe think it's a reactive thing, and the funny thing was it was something really, really early in our journey. Like we didn't know what it meant, but we committed to, hey, we want to get players involved early, and we all kind of looked at each other when we were doing the initial pitch, and I don't think any of us really knew what that meant. Were we going to get people in and play our prototype? Were we going to get our first version? What if we put the game out and it leaks and all these things? But for us, it was like we're building a game that there's multiple ways to play and different players will play in different and as I said before, it's just there was no real other way to build it. And then when you think about building a new IP, building a brand new game in a brand new way, just having players really work with us and tell us what they like and what they enjoy just helps us make the pirate game they want as well as the pirate game we want.
Would you say that due to the players that you've made any major changes, both good and bad?
Yeah, I don't think we've done anything bad because it's always getting that feedback and changing it to kind of improve things. But I think we tweaked for me from my side of things, talking about the art. There was the way that we did the lighting. We actually changed that slightly and subtly. So we still retained the amazing sunsets and the horizons, but you could actually see a little bit further in the distance to see other ships because we've actually got this big group of people that are working on data, and they can look at the play tests and see what happens when it comes back, and they can put all this data together and say, well, people aren't running into each other as much as possible, or they're not seeing each other. So we're able to tweak those numbers and tweak those things just so that they can catch the ship on the horizon a little bit more. And that means they're more likely to run into each other or more likely to kind of hunt each other down. So it's things like that, just all those little tiny tuning. And yeah, there's lots.
Yeah, I think that's a great example. Like shipping counter frequency for our game. We don't want it to feel like a boating lake for our kind of English listeners or a regatta for anyone in Europe or the US. But we want that moment where you see another ship for it to be that classic pirate moment of, which crew is on that's someone else on their adventure. And as Ryan said, we weren't seeing the shipping counter frequency we wanted.
Sometimes it was great and sometimes no one saw anyone.
And one of the fixes for that was actually the draw test. And the other one I really liked that you guys did with that was about how prominent the ship lights showed up.
Yes.
In the distance as well.
Of things, wasn't there? I forgot about that.
So if they were sailing at night, you'd see the lights on the prow of the ship, and then and because it's Sea of Thieves, like we allow players to control that as well. So you can actually go around your ship and turn the lights off. So if you want...
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, run stealth.
Yeah, I love you can run dark. That's so cool.
And we even, Guillaume, one of our audio teams, said, "Oh, I've seen this thing on a French website. I can't remember the name.
Jeux Video.
Thank you." Where he said there was something in one of their comments threads how two players were communicating with each other through Morse code, using the ship lights, which, like, again, just blew my mind. And there's been so many moments like that where players have done stuff that, quite honestly, we wouldn't have thought of. And that's where getting players to play. And, you know, to answer your question, like, what have we learned? We've learned that players do all sorts of amazing stuff that we've just given them the tools to do.
Yeah, and I'm finding people use things in the game ways that I've never thought of. Like, I read other people's story and I never thought of that. And I've played it dozens of times, but they found a way to use a feature that I've just never imagined.
Yeah, and here I thought I was funny when I turned off my lamp and Ross walked off a cliff.
I was just about to bring that up. He's like, Ross, come here, turned off the light, and I literally went straight off the edge of the cliff.
We had one where someone climbed into a cannon and then a skeleton shot them out of the cannon.
Teamwork.
Yeah, we didn't know that would actually happen, but it did. There you go.
So, do you guys have any cool stuff lined up for the insiders in the future that you can share? Obviously, a lot of it's top secret, but
yeah, and I mean, this is the funny thing, because actually most of it isn't. Because we've been, I think, as Ryan and you guys probably alluded to before, I think, you know, Rare of old, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, was this, you know, secret superhero facility in the middle of the Leicestershire countryside that never let anyone in and popped a game out every couple of years. And very much, you know, the shift with Sea of Thieves was, hey, we've got this super active community, you know, we call them our insider program, which is great, and, you know, we'd love to encourage more people to sign up. And what we've been trying to do...
SeaofThieves.com/insider.
And what we're trying to do is just encourage, you know, we've done things where we have talked about features up and running. We've showed some work in progress, things we're working on to get feedback before it even gets implemented in. You know, we regularly cover, you know, our forums and you know, look at the subreddit. You know we've got a super active community on the subreddit as well. You know, we seek input and feedback, and we try and, you know, we try and be as open and transparent as we can. Obviously, we don't want to talk about stuff that's too far in the distance, because we will change things and change designs.
Or it spoils the surprise as well.
Or it spoils the surprise. But that's generally, as we're doing stuff, we try to just talk about it openly, and get feedback. And even when things go wrong, like, you know, we've had playtests before, we've had matchmaking issues. And, you know, Rob, one of our services devs, jumping on there and just going, hey, here's what we found. We had too much load. It broke this service. This is what went wrong. Because actually, I think just engaging with our community in that way, they know we're genuine and we don't try and do anything that impacts anything. But when it goes wrong, we learn and we'll be honest with that and we'll make it better for next time.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things about being an insider is that our insiders do have direct access to the team. For example, in the insider section of the forums, like Craig said, you know, we communicate directly. I think Joe, our executive producer, around once a month does a roundup on things that we've been working on. We do live Q&As. We'll need to do another one soon where people can come in and ask the team about stuff. Ryan did one recently with Victoria, all about our art. So being an insider, you get an email every week, sometimes again showing sneak peeks. We show our videos to our insiders early. So you really do get that direct contact with the team. So it really is sort of like an insiders club.
And a podcast.
And a podcast.
Yeah.
But I guess...
Although I have to say, you got a poor choice of guests in the past.
Oh, well.
I see what you did there, Ross.
But, I mean, just to close on the inside, I mean, my pitch would be, like, if people want to get involved in building a AAA game like Sea of Thieves with a studio like Rare, like, it's not a kind of false promise. Like, get involved in the insider program, tell the team what you think, give us feedback, play in our alphas. Like, we want people to be involved. That will help us ultimately make Sea of Thieves a better game.
Now, for our European listeners and those with frequent flyer miles to spare, are you going to be at Gamescom?
I don't think Xbox has announced its Gamescom plan, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at Gamescom.
Yeah, at least you personally.
100. I missed it last year. Partly,
I know.
I think I was just a bit broken after E3 last year, but
no, I think you're in Redmond. Was
I?
Yeah.
You missed my pirate outfit.
Larry was giving me stick for you not being there.
That's right. I think I was in Redmond at the same time. But no, I plan to be at Gamescom this year. And Gamescom's a great event. We have a ton of Xbox and Rare fans there. So it's, I think we're looking forward to Gamescom.
Brilliant. Now, I'm sorry for this, Karina, but did you guys know that until like a week or so ago, Karina here had never heard of Battletoads, and I made a Battletoads
because she's a young one,
and it went completely over her head. But because you guys were like super nice enough to give away Rare Replay for free to anyone who was watching E3 on Mixer, thanks for that, by the way. That was kind of nice. She's apparently been playing it, so I want to know, Karina, what you think of Battletoads in front of Rare.
Firstly, if anyone has ever, I'm guessing people have speedrun the game, but if they have, they need a medal because I've never been so frustrated at the game before.
That means it's working.
Yeah,
that's old school gaming.
It was a really good game. I was playing it this morning until about 2 a.m. and I really, really enjoyed it. But I think I used the rewind button more than actually playing the game, especially on the driving stages.
What it's there for. If you go into the snapshot challenges, there's an infinite turbo tunnel. So the turbo tunnel, if you've gotten to it yet, is ridiculously hard. And our engineers just clipped it out, and it's on a loop. And I think the record is something crazy. I think it's beyond 40 minutes. Someone managed on that?
No, I think it's hours now.
That's inhuman.
Hours.
I know that one of our engineers on site was playing, and then I think it was when the game was over at Gamescom just after launch, and people were issuing challenges back and forth. So the team at the show were sending times back, and then he would get infuriated because he'd been beaten again, and he'd be sitting down and trying to beat it. And yeah,
that's a game of a time when games were brutal and unapologetic about it.
When I was in high school, passing the turbo tunnel was like a sign of becoming. You know, like that's what made you a real man.
That was gaming credibility, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you could play Battletoads, you were the gamer.
Yeah.
Reese, Finland is definitely different to Scotland, then that's all I can say. Now, there is a question which we ask all of our guests, and Emma has actually answered this before, so I'm afraid I'm going to skip over you in this instance because we know your answer. But it's super serious journalism right here. The question that is on everyone's lips. And unfortunately for you, Craig, you are going to be my first pick here. What all of our listeners really want to know is which classic video game character could you knock out with one punch?
That's a better question than I got asked at E3 as I spoke for time. I got asked a question at E3, which was if you were stuck on a desert island on your own, which video game character would you take with you? Which, asked by a female Australian journalist, I got slightly paranoid. Answered Pac-Man. Which her response was, "Do you not mean Miss Pac-Man?" And I said, "What's the difference?" And she said, "A bow."
I was about to say it's a bow, yeah.
So,
right, can I just point out, you're just back trying to buy time.
Yeah, what video game character could I knock out with one punch?
Mm-hmm. That means a video character you want to knock out as well.
It could.
Yeah, I would say
have
so.
To want to, but he could. You could take him.
Do you remember the guy in Super Punch-Out that used to look a bit like Pluto from Popeye?
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Or Bluto? I never knew. Bluto. It was a B, wasn't it?
Bluto, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon I could knock him out with one punch.
You could take him?
Ooh.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
And of course, Ryan, same question.
I'm sitting in Craig's office surrounded by rare characters. Okay, I'll say Death from Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Rare.
Yeah, I'll go rare, and I'll say I'll knock him out because he was quite evil.
See, if I picked a rare character, no one would forgive me ever.
Yeah.
Once and you died, so I'd want to knock him out.
Yeah, no, that's a good call.
Who did you say again, Emma?
Well, look,
Oh, the Guildmaster from the original Fable.
Oh, right,
Because
yeah.
you'd be fighting and all you'd hear is, your health is low, do you have any potions or food? And it was infuriating. I noticed though, I think did they put a gravestone in for him in Fable 2? I'm sure there's a little Easter egg in there somewhere.
I think there might be.
I think
Ted would know.
probably.
Ted Timmins, who's our PC design lead, worked on Fable 2.
There's a few Fable refugees there.
We've got a few lions, yeah.
Oh, they've got a cool name. A few lines.
Yeah, lions. I was just thinking, I was sort of enjoying that pause. Like, that's good.
Is,
Do you guys not have a
Rarites?
cool name?
Rare rights?
Rarites is the only one I've heard.
Heard that one a few times. That's not very cool.
No.
Ryan's
No.
frowning at me.
No, we need to call the name right. It's a mission. Company mission.
There we go.
Cool name.
Let us know on the
Listeners
subreddit.
can pick one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, put it on the subreddit, yeah.
well, look, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, all three of you. It's rare that we have 6 on the same podcast, and I cannot wait to get started editing this right away.
Thank you for having us.
But we are excited to see more what's happening from Sea of Thieves and what else Rare have up their sleeve in the future. But again, thank you everyone for joining us. And for another week, Xbox, turn off. So all that I'm looking for example, is, hi, I'm Ryan Stevenson, art director at Rare, working currently on Sea of Thieves, and you're listening to the Party Chat podcast.
Okay.
Brian,
Maybe I'll just
Brian's
include
got his
me
head
saying
in
that as you.
Party Chat podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Ryan Stevenson, art director on Sea of Thieves, and welcome to the Party Chat podcast.
The Party Chat podcast.
Take it. You do this. You can do it.
Ryan, I'm sorry, but we do a little thing at the end of the episode where we have an
Blooper, can he be
outtake.
the
You just
blooper?
made the outtake.
Thank you.
I can assure you his art skills are way better than podcasting.
I do this very rarely, and this is the reason why.
Really? Oh, I love it.